Welcome along to Tenacious Be. I am your host, Ashley Bentley, and this is the last in the current series of Zen and the Art of the Mind. And we have a unique guest today, YouTuber and website designer Ash Silver. Now, Zen and the Art of the Mind, this current series looking at the intersection of arts and mental health, we'll be taking a break after this episode so that we can start a new series exploring the therapeutic value of psychedelics. Tune out, turn on, and drop in is the name of the series exploring psychedelics, and we'll be kicking off the series with a special one-off episode of yours truly, sharing my experiences with psychedelics and what they've brought to my life and why I think it's important to talk about it. And a big reason why this conversation is starting now is I'm headed off to Portugal in late August to take part in a 4-day San Pedro ceremony. Then the following week, I will be helping to facilitate a women's only 4-day San Pedro ceremony. So I am really, really excited about this. I'll be keeping a video diary while I'm traveling down there, and I'll also be filming while I'm there, speaking to some of the beautiful facilitators who run these transformative San Pedro experiences, and also to any other participants who might feel compelled to share any of their journey with me. So when I come back, I will be having a number of different guests on the podcast, different psychotherapists who are familiar with psychedelics, and most importantly, their integration afterwards. So more on all of this in late August when the next podcast episode comes out. But don't worry, Zen and the Art of the Mind won't be gone forever. We'll most certainly be bringing it back. I already have a number of amazing artists lined up for you, so we'll definitely be revisiting that series, most likely towards the end of this year or perhaps the beginning of next year. So I'd like to take a moment to thank the sponsor of the podcast, Integrative Coaching, Breathwork, and Hypnotherapy. This is my coaching, breathwork, and hypnotherapy business, and I do the majority of my sessions online, so that means we can connect and work together no matter where you are in the world. So make sure to visit integrativeiom.co.uk. That's the website address. And if you'd like to email me, the email address is integrativeiom@gmail.com. And you can also find me on Insight Timer. I'm really excited about this. I have quite a few guided meditations and Yoga Nidras on there. And we'll be starting to do some live events on Insight Timer very soon. So make sure to check out my Insight Timer meditation teacher page. It's insighttimer.com/Ashley Bentley. And speaking of Yoga Nidras, we are diving deep into the world of Yoga Nidras today at the end of today's podcast. So you'll want to stay tuned to bliss out and relax your body, mind, and spirit when we get down to business and cultivate the witness in today's episode. So without further ado, enjoy this month's episode. Welcome along to Tenacious Be. I am your host, Ashley Bentley. And we are right in the middle of Zen and the Art of the Mind, looking at the intersection of arts and mental health. And I'm very excited about our guest today, the lovely Miss Ashley Silver. Let me just read out her bio to you. Ash is a content creator on YouTube, covering fraud, scams, cults, deep dives, television shows, downfalls, and more. Lots of guilty pleasures there. Ash was born in Ireland and attended King William's College and moved to the United States at age 16. She lived there for over 15 years, and living in all of these places resulted in a very unique accent. Yes, we could discuss that too. Yes, I found a kindred spirit in accents. After moving to the US, Ash attended the University of Tampa in Florida, graduating with multiple degrees in 2009. Oh, we'll have to discuss that. Upon graduating, Ash became the general manager for AMC Theaters in Florida, with theaters in downtown Disney and Universal Studios City Walk. That must have been amazing. Ash then worked for many years in the medical industry and also spent several years working for poker stars in New Jersey. I can so relate to this varied background and careers. I love it. Ash moved to the Isle of Man in 2019 and worked at Microgaming, starting her YouTube channel while employed there. A redundancy from microgaming was actually the best thing that ever happened to her, as she was not happy at the company. And although it was difficult in the beginning, Ash went on to start Isle of Man Doctors while working on growing her YouTube channel. After steady channel growth on YouTube from 2021 to 2023 and working with Showtime on the series The L Word, in the summer of 2023, Ash's channel Coffee and Cults experienced a huge amount of growth. Ash has crossed the 100,000 subscribers, and a million monthly viewers tune in to watch her deep dive videos by early 2024. Ash's channel is also currently viewed all around the world by many different people, fellow content creators, and celebrities. Ash currently balances her channel with her work on the island with over half a dozen consultants who are a part of the Isle of Man Doctors. So, yeah, just what a varied background and continued varied work that you are doing. Thank you so much for joining us today.
No, thanks for having me.
There's so many different things I want to this conversation could go in so many different directions, but I want to hit on a couple of things that definitely jumped out at me in your bio. So we don't sound alike at all, but I think where we do sound alike is that we sound like we're not from anywhere. We kind
Yeah.
of got like an amalgamation, because I've been over here for 22 years. And it's funny, every time I go back to the States, everybody thinks I sound British, but
Yeah.
everybody over here says, "Oh, you haven't lost your accent at all." So yeah, yeah. What sort of feedback do you normally get depending on where you are in the world?
It's the exact same thing. Like no matter where you are, people are trying to figure out what's going on. And when I meet people, like I can see the wheels turning in their head. And I think also it helped with YouTube because I got so many questions in the comments like, what's going on with your accent? Like, in the beginning, I had some people saying, "Oh, you're faking like a really bad accent," and I was like, "No, no, unfortunately, this is real. If I was going to fake one, I'd pick a better one, honestly."
I think it's great. No, I love it. I love it. I think it's brilliant. And let's see. So multiple degrees. What did you? I'd love to hear what your degrees were.
Yeah, I started like I always wanted to do something with television, movies, video, and obviously when I was in school, the wasn't really a job like this where you can create content and get paid. YouTube didn't have any monetization at that stage and it was really early days.
Yeah.
So I knew that it was a big if or like, a small percentage of being able to make something like that work. So I did a degree in psychology and then another one in biology. But at the same time, I still did one in film and television because that's what I really wanted to do. So it was a lot of work and I had to do summer classes because I wanted it, obviously, like American university is normally 4 years,
Yeah.
but I wanted to get done in 3 years. So I just did year-long years and didn't take the summer off so that I could get the extra credits to make sure I got out a little bit earlier, but with the multiple degrees.
Oh my God. So 3 degrees in 3 years.
Yeah, yeah.
That's wow.
I did have a little tiny bit of a head start too because I went to KWC. I did a because I moved when I was 16, I'd done my GCSEs and I'd done a year of the IB program. So when I moved, they didn't really know what to do with me.
Hmm.
And I did actually do my last 2 years of high school in an American high school. And so while I was there, they basically let me take college classes, but being in high school. And then when
Yes.
I went to university, they let me do like it was like chemistry and maths and I think biology. I did like a test where they gave me credits basically. So I started out with I think it was like 20 credits extra
Okay.
that,
Okay.
normally you have to get to. I think it's 124 for a degree. So I did have a little bit of a jump through
But
that.
still, I mean, yeah, I did the same thing in my senior year. I was taking I was in high school, but I was also taking some college classes at the same time. So I managed to graduate 6 months early, but with 1 degree. So yeah, that's incredibly impressive. And again, such a mixture, psychology, film, biology. Was that the other one?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just amazing. Just really, really amazing. So what was the other thing that I wanted to well, I mean, as we were talking at the beginning, before we hit record, I mentioned that I wanted to get a really nice variety of people on who are creating things in their life, who are creative individuals. And up until today, I've had a mixture of people who are artists but have another job. And now I have been speaking to people who are making their living with their craft, which is exactly what you are doing, which is just so amazing. And but you are the first digital content creator that we've had on, and this is such an exciting field, and it's just exploding. And I would love to hear just your journey into creating and how you got to where you are now. I mean, I know we don't we only have a limited amount of time, but I would love to sort of hit the high points and how that has fit in with your well-being. Because I know you're incredibly busy, and this is going to be a really interesting conversation about how you leverage your wellness with your incredibly busy schedule. So I realize that's a lot of different things I've just thrown at you, but feel free to just jump right in.
Yeah, I mean, I started my channel while I was working at microgaming. I'd moved back to the island and I'd been working and living in New Jersey. And that period in my life was like very difficult, like mental health wise and stuff. So when I came back, I knew, I wanted to lose weight and I like stopped drinking and, started trying to move in a much better direction, like all around. And I kind of made a promise to myself, like, oh, if I lose like X amount of weight and like don't do this and do that and et cetera, that I would start a YouTube channel whenever I kind of got through these like initial goals. And it was something that I always wanted to do. So I started basically reviewing like TV shows. The L Word was like one of the first ones that I did, and I had an original channel that I did that on, and it's still up and everything. And I basically started working like a bit with the show. Like they invited me out to LA to go to the set and like meet everyone and, do a bunch of content and Showtime, when they were doing like an event, they would ask me to make videos for these things. And then each season, they would do stuff with me. And then when the show was finishing, which was January 2023, that was when I knew the show was coming to an end. I was covering some other stuff too, but I kind of knew by then I had got the basics of YouTube and I wanted to move in a direction that was more just bigger, like could do longer videos on bigger topics that appeal to more people, because obviously you're always going to be compounded by the ratings of a certain TV show.
Yeah.
So I started this second channel that now is my channel, and I was just covering cases like Elizabeth Holmes and WeWork, and they were doing like okay, nothing amazing. And then I had like a good few videos up. And honestly, just out of nowhere, one of the videos that was the previously worst performing just started getting a bunch of views. And I thought, oh, well, these people are coming watching this topic. So I made like another video about the same topic. And it got picked up by the algorithm. And just slowly, I started doing more videos, putting a lot of time and effort in. And over August, September, October last year, they really started doing well. And in October last year, I did a 2 hour video on Danny Masterson, who he was in That 70s Show with Ashton Kutcher
Yeah.
and Mila
Yeah.
Kunis. And he was on trial for very awful things to women.
Mm.
And he also is a Scientologist. So
Mm.
it was just a lot of stuff. And I realized that there was a gap in the market because nobody had really gone over everything about the case and it was very complicated. So I did this video and it just absolutely exploded. It has, well over 1 million views now. And ever since then, it's just kind of kept climbing.
Wow. Wow. It's so interesting. So this is combining creativity with, I would imagine, a lot of research as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that is all fascinating. And we will get back to the YouTube channel, but you just highlighted something that I totally forgot to mention about you and to mention about how you and I met,
Yeah.
which was very cool. And I think so, yeah, so this was early 2021. We were right in the midst of, are we going to get locked down? Are we not?
Yeah.
And I was just starting my hypnotherapy business, and we were on the same small business grant scheme school, I guess, or course rather. And we met there, and there was about, I don't know, about 20 or 30 people in that course. And I think there were three, if not four, Ashleys in there,
Yeah.
which was bizarre in and of itself. But we were sitting at the same table. And it's like, oh my gosh, we've both had a journey with weight loss.
Yeah.
We both are, Americans, or have a connection to America, and are on this tiny little island in the middle of the Irish Sea. We've got the same name. It was very, very interesting. So yeah, we really bonded and were drawn to each other, especially about our journey with weight loss as well. And that's I want to hit upon that as well, because it's definitely a mental health issue
Yeah.
as well as a physical issue. And mental health and physical health are one and the same, really. And you were highlighted in a British newspaper a few years back, weren't you, as well, for
Yeah.
your weight loss story? Go ahead and tell people, how much weight have you lost, and
Uh,
how are you?
250 pounds. I think that's like 16 stone. I'm not good with the stone. The stone.
Wow. Yeah, I think that's more than 16 stone. 250 pounds. Wow, that is
Yeah.
amazing. That is so amazing. And I mean, I'm sure we could probably do a whole podcast just on that. But how has that factored into your mental well-being? And is that still, what do you do on a daily basis to look after the physical side of your mental well-being?
Yeah, I mean, I still am like trying to lose like a little bit that's left because it obviously like as you lose, like it slows down.
Yes.
So I do just try and stick to I'm a very extreme person. Like I am all in or all out. There's never middle ground with me. So I definitely have to be like I said, I do not like when I say I don't drink, I mean I don't have like a glass at Christmas or anything like that. Like I do not drink. I cannot eat carbs. I cannot eat bread. Like, and there can't be cheat days or anything like that because then I go off the off the rails and I eat like a loaf of bread. So it has to be really strict. But the weight loss too is one of those things that so many people, especially, like a lot of people will ask me, oh, I want to lose weight, I want to do this, that. And it is one of those things that you I don't know whether you've ever seen that show, My 600 Pound Life, with Dr.
No, no, I've
Brown.
heard about it.
It's really good. The doctor, he's like this little Iranian doctor. He's in his mid to late 70s, and he has this phrase that the scale doesn't lie, people do.
Yeah.
And it is so true because you lie to yourself for so long. And I know when I say this to people, sometimes they like get a little bit bristly, but the reason that I was overweight is because I consumed too many calories. Like that's it. Like that's the only reason. And yes, there's like little things like, oh, my dad's overweight, but my mum wasn't at all. And somebody had like polycystic ovary, like I have that too, but it really comes down to you're eating too many calories and you can't really outrun a bad diet because weight loss happens in the kitchen, not in the gym. That's
Yeah.
fitness. So I just had to be so truthful. Like I absolutely log everything that touches my lips. Like if I have a quality street out of, the little tub in Carson's pharmacy, then that is absolutely like going in the tracker.
Ah,
It
right.
has to be everything because you don't realize how
Yeah.
much you're doing that, like little snacks here, or you open the fridge and you take a bite of something or a drink. Like, and for me, so many calories came from liquid. So I do not have anything that's not water, coffee, or milk. I have a weird obsession with milk, but I don't drink any soda whatsoever and haven't in years
Yeah.
because that's just one really easy way to cut out a bunch of calories.
You're so right. And I think what's really important and is finding what works for you because I have I don't track everything that I consume because I don't need to because I eat the exact same thing every day.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
And it just takes, I don't have to make it, the decision is already
Yeah.
made. And when you do things like, yeah, not eating bread and things like that, some people might go, oh, that sounds so extreme, but actually it's a relief. It's a relief
Yeah.
once you find something that works for you, stick to that, make a commitment, and you're exactly right. I think fitness is definitely a part of a well-rounded well-being, but yeah, it's not going to save you from eating an entire loaf of bread, no matter how much you run. But yeah, I realize the way I do it probably isn't for everyone, but that's the thing. You've got to find what works for you and consistency. And so anybody out there, if you're wondering, just start making small tweaks and then just come
Oh
up
yeah.
with a system that works for you. And then if you put on a couple pounds, you think, well, there's got to be a reason. And when you're consistent, you can usually find where that
Yeah.
reason is. And it's no longer a mystery. And you're right, we can consume lots of calories. There's, I think, Tim Ferriss, who wrote the slow carb diet. That was one of his, I think it only has like 5 tenets to it. And one of it is don't drink calories,
Yeah.
things like juice and like
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
juice. And so even though juice, this is where a lot of people go wrong with. They think, well, this is 100% juice and it's all fruit and everything. It's like if you were to eat that amount of fruit that created that juice, I mean,
Oh
it's
yeah,
so much
yeah.
sugar you put, even though it's natural sugar, it's still sugar that you're putting in your body. And you're right. And weight loss happens and sort of we plateau and then we have another and then we plateau and it's a continued evolution. And yeah, when you've been overweight like we have been, it is pretty much a lifelong sort of something that you
Yeah.
um are aware of. And you can almost, this is kind of the ultimate reframe when there are some people out there with a crazy metabolism who can eat
Oh, my
an
sister.
enormous amount. But you know what, I'm almost kind of glad that I'm not that person because that is forcing me to be healthy. It's forcing me to really be conscious because if I didn't need to, I probably wouldn't eat healthy. Probably would
Oh
eat a
yeah.
load of crap. So yeah, so I always like to find a silver lining somewhere. So anyway, that was a little detour there, but so I know that so your YouTube channel has just exploded, which is amazing. Give people an idea. I know your schedule is really crazy busy. How busy is your schedule? What does a typical week look like? And how are you fitting in your self-care?
I just am one of those people that work I do flourish when I am busy like that. The phrase, the devil makes work of idle hands,
Yeah.
because again, like that goes into my extremist thing. Like I have to be doing everything or doing nothing. And I just like that busyness too, because as well, like I don't have any children, and a lot of people who will say to me, but how do you do it all? It's because they're thinking about, and it's lots of my friends or just even people, clients or patients that I know, that they have 2 or 3 kids. And I always say to them, think about how much time you spend even just with your kids or taking them to school, feeding them, doing all this stuff. I don't do any of that. So
Yeah.
I get all that time to do this. So that, I have my cat, but she's very accommodating. And that that does give me a lot of extra time. And I'm normally working on something always, because YouTube as well, it's my own schedule. Nobody is going to shout at me if I don't post a video
Yeah.
every 2 weeks, because my videos are really long, so they take a long time to make. And I have really amazing viewers too who are always like, oh, take your time, like we'll wait. And I do like to put stuff out every 2 or 3 weeks, but at the same time, because I have the doctors and stuff as well, most of them work within the NHS. So I work with them with their private stuff. So it's not like I'm running NHS practices that are open 8 to 6 every day. And mostly I'm doing their marketing, their websites. A lot of them I do basically. In the beginning, they would come and to me, and they would have never done anything private, so it would be getting them a location, getting them a secretary, a nurse, equipment, and all of that. But now that I've done all that and they're all set up, it's just about maintaining and their websites and marketing and social media and making sure that everybody's happy. And I really cannot say enough good things about the people who I work with, like the secretaries and nurses especially. They're just absolutely amazing people, and so just great initiative. They are really hardworking as well, and them supporting it takes so much off my hands as well. So it's having those good people around you as well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that was going to lead into my next question of what exactly are you doing with the doctors? So you're doing digital marketing, regular marketing, just helping people get set up, going from NHS to setting up their own private endeavor. Is that?
Yeah, because most of them, I mean, that's the thing. Like, there's so many people here. The reason I started Alaman Doctors is I saw this survey. It was in 2019 that over 50% of people on the island have private medical insurance. So they already have their insurance through their company. And a lot of people have this impression, oh, it's all rich people who go privately, but there's secretaries who make 18,000 a year and just work for a company that gives them really good medical insurance. So it's why would they not go there? Because the doctors can't do any more time within the NHS, because they need nurses, they need secretaries, they need the support that just isn't willing to be there at weekends and overnights and things like that. So they can come in, see these patients who already have private healthcare. That's the vast majority of people who come to us,
Yeah.
is people that already have insurance.
Right.
And they get treated for, we do dermatology. There's people coming in for vasectomies, pain. It's just like such a wide variety of things. And those people, it's a great resource, that because they work for these companies that supply it.
I just love this. So you basically, I don't think I quite realized you basically saw a gap in the market. You knew that people had private medical in their workplace. A lot of people do.
Mm-hmm.
And the Isle of Man is such a small place that usually a lot of people go across to England to see a private specialist. So that's amazing. I wonder if that is a bit of your psychology background and a bit of your varied background, that you can sort of see things that other people aren't seeing, see opportunities that other people aren't.
Yeah, that to me is what you what I am always looking for, because especially if you look at content creation on YouTube. I read something the other day that was saying being a YouTuber is like the number one thing that kids want to do.
Wow.
And that, if you speak to someone like my dad, and when I tell my dad, oh, this video got 1 million views, my dad's response normally is, oh, well, I need to get my dog on there because, I can also have 1 million views and get 10, 15,000 pounds for that. And I'm like, Dad, if it was that easy, everyone would be doing it.
Yeah.
Everybody cutting their pets and their kids and stuff. You have to bring something that isn't there, or you have to take a unique angle, because there's another YouTuber, his name's Paddy Galloway, that I have like done working with him because he's like a YouTube advisor. He's amazing guy from like rural Ireland, and he helped Mr. Beast, who is the
Right.
biggest YouTuber in the world
Yeah.
and makes, probably $50 million a month off YouTube. And it's
Wow.
just, he has 250 million subscribers. So Patty, he was telling me that the odds of people starting a YouTube channel and crossing 100,000 subscribers is 0.06%. So those are the odds going in.
Yeah.
And it's why I'd also never advise anyone to do something like Mr. Beast, put all your money into it, or quit your job. Like, if you want to do it while you're working, and don't make that jump until you're comfortable.
Yeah.
But it is another one of those things where if you see something that, like a TV show nobody else is covering, that's how I started, or just this unique way of doing something, that's the best way to kind of break out and get
Yeah.
followers, views, whatever it is.
Yeah, I've got to say, yeah, I was very naive when I first set up my so I've got two YouTube channels. I obviously have this one for the podcast, and I've got another one for my hypnotherapy where I do yoga nidras and guided meditations, and I just thought, oh well, people tell me I've got a good voice and I've got the production skills. I've worked in radio for years. And I just thought, oh, it's just going to be, easy peasy. And yeah, it's that's a craft in and of itself. You've got the one bit of creating your content, and that will be obviously a huge part of it because it's got to be something that is going to draw people in. But there is the other aspect of navigating. And things are changing all the time with YouTube and
Oh
online
yeah.
content creation. And so you've got to stay with the times, but it's good. It sounds like it works really well with your personality of needing to stay busy. So how do you what do you have any sort of self-care regime? How do you look after your well-being?
I mean, I know, I know this probably sounds strange, but I am very obsessed with my cat. So I love spending time with her, and it gives me a lot of joy just to be work from home a lot, and she's always with me. She's sitting staring at me now, and just like having her around, and she's that like that's why there's a blanket on the desk because she sits on the desk next to me. But I also just there's just little things that I don't really feel as though there's something, groundbreaking, but my sort of personality is, when I go to bed at night, like, I after I have a shower, I have to make sure everything's put away and everything's in its place. Like, I don't start the day until my bed's made and it's in, looking this way, because I need that structure and that
Mm,
order to things that just works best for me, honestly, is being quite regimented. And I am one of those people that it wouldn't feel good to me if on a Sunday I was in bed till like noon or anything like that. Like, I have to stay kind of the same all the time.
yeah.
Otherwise, that's when, again, like, I just go off the rails.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're right. And you've hit upon something that's really important for people. And it's something that I try and impart to my clients all the time is the body, that your brain and body are happiest when you have a pretty steady routine of going to sleep, waking up, and the body likes to know what, especially our nervous system, it likes to know what to expect. And also because you're so busy and things can be quite chaotic in what you do, keeping one foot in order and one foot in chaos at the same time is just that's where the magic happens. So keeping lots of order in your home and where you can allows you to enjoy the chaos, because the chaos is where the magic happens, but if both feet are in chaos, it's not going to work. So that makes a lot of sense. And and I say this to people as well with eating. That fits in with eating as well. The body is happiest when it gets roughly the same amount of food at roughly the same time of day, and then everything is just working in this, it's like a nice finely tuned machine, so that you can have fun with chaos and other aspects. So what sort of split do you have in terms of working for your YouTube channel? How many hours a week would you say? Well, I mean, it's probably difficult to quantify that, but or maybe
All of them.
percentages. Maybe percentages of working on YouTube channel versus the private doctors.
Yeah, it's hard to I do a little bit of work for like my family business too, and that is one of those things where some weeks it could be, a couple of hours, and then other weeks it might be, oh, they need me an entire day to do like a bunch of computer work. But with the doctors too, they're obviously doctors, very very interesting people, very smart people, but
Yeah.
very interesting people, that sometimes I'll get a message at like 11 o'clock at night saying that they want to do this crazy idea, and the whole job for that day is talking them out of doing this crazy idea. But most of the time it's just a lot of online like websites marketing, making sure people know that we're there and available, and handling appointments and schedules and things. So I do probably do a couple of hours a day for them, and then most of the other time is YouTube. It does differ a little bit. Like one of the new practices, like a new dental practice, Dashiell Dental, it's actually one of the doctor's daughters is opening. She's taken over the practice that's on Hillary Road. And so that, because it's going through an opening, it's like making the website and getting everything up. Whereas once it's up, like maintaining it isn't as
Yeah.
much of a process. So
So different every day, different every week, different
yeah,
every month.
yeah,
Yeah. But it's really nice again having that variety in amongst all of the structure.
yeah.
That is really I think that is a really good piece of advice that we could give anybody out there. Try and have a framework of structure to your life that is always there, and that will allow you to play around with everything else. So excellent. All right, I've just seen it is time for the pickle of destiny. Okay, so the pickle of destiny, make sure all the listeners out there, please, we're running low on questions, so please get your questions in. We keep them nice and generic so they'll fit in with any guest. You can email the podcast, tenaciousbepodcast@gmail.com. So today's pickle of destiny, if you could choose one song to play every time you entered a room, what would you choose and why?
Oh. Do you know, this sounds weird, but I'm not a really big music person. It would probably be something Adele or Spice Girls or Britney Spears or something.
Why not?
Yeah,
Why not?
something like that.
Excellent. Your theme tune, your theme tune. Yeah. Well, I mean, both of those artists are, amazing, amazing artists. So a little Adele or a little Britney Spears. Excellent, excellent. So in a moment, we're going to be getting down to business and cultivating the witness. And up until today, I mean, I said when I started this podcast that I was going to do a variety. I would go back and forth between guided meditations or hypnosis or a yoga nidra. And up until now, I've just been doing nothing but guided meditations, which are great. But I thought for today we would do a yoga nidra, and I would explain to people a bit about what yoga nidra is and why it's a really important thing to add to your daily routine if you can, especially if you're super busy. So all three of those things, hypnosis, yoga nidra, and guided meditations, all share the same brainwave state, the theta brainwave state. And the theta brainwave state is a really unique brainwave state to be in. So we've got different ones. I'm not sure. Have you, I suppose, studying psychology, did you study at all the different brainwave states? So when we're,
Yeah.
so right. So to those who may not be aware, we have different brainwave states depending on our alertness. So we've got delta is deep sleep, and we've got alpha and beta when we're awake. Theta brainwave state combines two very, very different states: deep focus along with deep rest. And that is really where neuroplasticity is awakened within our brain, the ability to change our brain. And for the longest time in science, we thought once you sort of reach your mid-20s and your frontal lobe is fully formed, that, there's really not much chance in changing your brain very much. But now we know that's not true at all. And it does take a lot of work if somebody out there wants to change those neural pathways, but it's absolutely possible. And the theta brainwave state is sort of a fast track to really get you there. So what a yoga nidra is it's just basically a guided body scan. So there's no yoga poses, there's nothing like that anybody needs to do. And it's similar to a guided meditation in that you either listen to it lying down, or you can be seated and eyes closed. And what's really cool about the yoga nidra, it roughly translates to yoga sleep. And we set an intention at the beginning of yoga nidra. And the reason why we set an intention is to really take advantage of that neuroplasticity that's happening. So you want to cultivate a short, positive, and in the present tense statement about yourself, that whatever it is that you're working on, and you want to make sure to use positive language. So I'll give you an example. So if you are dealing with a lot of stress in your life, you don't want to say, I am stress-free. You want to say, I am relaxed and at peace. I find it easy to relax. Something that you're really working on. Or if somebody out there is experiencing pain in their body, you don't want to say, I am pain-free. You want to say, I experience comfort in my body. Or you can just keep it nice and generic. A good one that I use is, I release and let go of anything that doesn't serve me, and I'm fully aligned with my highest potential. That's a good generic one to adopt. Yeah. So everybody sort of try and think about your sankalpa now, because we're about to head in. And if you want to, you can pause this recording while you're coming up with this. Have you come up with a phrase yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. And also, if anybody is driving or operating heavy machinery, pause the recording, please, and come back to it when you can come back into stillness. So everybody just find a comfortable spot to settle in. And it's most common to be lying down whilst listening to Yoga Nidra. However, sitting in a comfortable chair is also an option. So whenever you're ready, gently close your eyes and know that you are exactly where you need to be in this moment, and that you are worthy of the deepest peace and healing that you seek. As we begin this practice, let go of any expectations or judgments, and simply allow yourself to be present with whatever arises, knowing that you are safe and supported and deeply loved. And just take a moment now to adjust your body in any way that it needs right now. It's worth the extra effort to adjust yourself into whatever position feels most comfortable for you right now. Good, that's right. And as you settle into stillness, imagine that the earth itself cradles you in its gentle arms, holding you with a love that needs no words. Feel your body relaxing, melting into the support beneath you, releasing all tension with each sigh of surrender. And as you've now settled into stillness, can you bring to mind your sankalpa, your intention for today? Mentally whispering your sankalpa now 3 times. Bringing your awareness now to the sensations inside your mouth, the taste buds on your tongue, the tip of the tongue, the root of your tongue. Feel the teeth and the gums, inside the right cheek, inside the left cheek, the roof of your mouth, the upper lip, the lower lip, the space in between the lips, the tip of the nose, the flow of air inside both nostrils, the bridge of the nose, the space between the eyebrows, the right eyebrow, the right eye and eyelid, and all the little intricate muscles behind the eye become very deeply relaxed. The left eyebrow, the left eye and eyelid, and all of the tiny little muscles behind the eye becoming very relaxed. The center of the forehead, the scalp, the right ear, listening, receiving sounds, the inner ear, and all of the muscles surrounding the right ear softening into a deep relaxation. That's right. The left ear, listening, receiving sounds, the inner ear, and all of the intricate muscles surrounding the left ear becoming soft and loose and deeply relaxed. Back to the front of the head, awareness to your chin, the base of the throat, the heart center, the right shoulder, upper arm, elbow, lower arm, wrist, palm of the hand, back of the hand, and the tips of all 5 fingers, the entire hand, the whole right arm, back to the heart center, the left shoulder, upper arm, elbow, lower arm, wrist, palm of the hand, back of the hand, and the tips of all 5 fingers, the entire hand, the whole left arm, back to the heart center, the navel, the pelvic bowl, the right hip, knee, ankle, heel of the foot, sole of the foot, top of the foot, the tips of all 5 toes, the entire foot, the entire right leg, back to the pelvic bowl, the left hip, knee, ankle, heel of the foot, sole of the foot, top of the foot, the tips of all 5 toes, the entire foot, the entire left leg, the whole right side of the body, the whole left side of the body. Awareness now to the entire physical body. Feeling the whole body. Bringing awareness now to the crown of the head. And imagining now the right hemisphere of the brain as a muscle, beginning to relax deeply. The left hemisphere of the brain, relaxing and softening. The entire brain relaxed. Bringing awareness now to your breath. And at the same time, awareness to the crown of the head. And as you focus your attention on your breathing now, can you imagine breathing in through the crown of the head? And as you exhale, breathing out through your heart space. Breathing in nice and slow through the top of your head. And as you exhale, relax, imagine your breath leaving your body out through your heart space at your own pace and speed. That's right. Breathing in and out, just like waves coming in and out of the sea. They can come in and they can go out without you having to consciously pay any attention to it, but all the while it takes you deeper and deeper into your experience, your understanding. Your awareness can just detach and slow down. That's right. Can you now bring back into your awareness your sankalpa, your intention? Mentally whispering this again 3 times now. Good. And now, can you begin to notice the outline of your physical body? And notice now where the physical body ends and the space around you begins. And you can start to make some very small movements in your fingers and toes, perhaps moving your head from side to side. And whenever you're ready, feel free to gently open your eyes. Thank you so much for joining us. And I've one more thing that I forgot to mention about Yoga Nidra. For all of those people that are super busy out there, this is a great way to rest your nervous system. And there are absolutely loads of them on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you get your streaming audio from. There are loads. I have some as well, so feel free to go to Integrative's YouTube channel to listen to one of those. I do a Yoga Nidra every single day. I usually do it around the middle of the day, and it just perks me up. A good 20-minute Yoga Nidra will give you an extra oomph. It releases dopamine, serotonin. It even releases human growth hormone. So it is so good for you. It's really, really good for you. Now, the important things. Where can people find you? It's Coffee and Cults. But
Yes.
please do tell us everything we need to know about how people can find you.
Coffee and Cults on YouTube. My other channels are at the bottom of Coffee and Cults too. The TV channel is just Ash Silver, but I don't post so much there. And then on Instagram, I'm just at the Ash Silver, spelled like the color, and Ash Silver Investigates on YouTube too. That's just like a small one that I use for like little social media things. But I obviously, anybody on the Isle of Man is also free to visit isleofmandoctors.com, datchfielddental.com, and all of the doctors all their websites are on Isle of Man Doctors, so you can see all of them that are there too.
Excellent. I love you. You're helping people's physical health in that regard, and you're also helping people indulge in their guilty pleasures of sort of deep dives and all the sort of interesting things that are going on around the world. I'm so glad that you agreed to come on the podcast. Thank you.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right. Thank you. Take care.
Thanks, Ash. Bye.
Bye.
If I could sing or play an instrument for you, I would sing and play an instrument for you. If I could dance for you, I would dance for you. If I could paint for you, I would paint for you. But my thing is words. But the problem about words is that you may listen to them.
And that would be a mistake.